So if you remember from last time, you'll probably know that this purse is absolute bullshit. Why would you ever carry a purse that literally shows to everyone your vibrator collection?
What? What was that last part?
I mean, they probably had those in the 1800s, right?
No.
Where's my phone?
They didn't have batteries back then.
Did they not? They had lights.
They had lights, but I don't know about batteries and.
When was the vibrator invented? Fuck! 1880s! Miss Baines is right about one thing. The electric vibrator was invented by a physician, the British doctor Joseph Mortimer Granville.
Oh my god.
He invented it in the early 1880s. Hell yes.
Oh my god. Okay, glad to know that's historically accurate.
I was gonna be like, fuck you, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to sex toys.
Why do you know that's got information though?
Well, look at this bull tattoo he has on his wrist. Am I not allowed to select it?
You have to press the R button to present. Look at that, you did it.
Why does he have a bull tattoo on his wrist?
Well, I mean, he likes bulls.
Look at this. Here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist.
Flick of a wrist? That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Brett was not expecting this.
I should react to that too.
Dear me, I was wondering what new people you would come out with. A burn, you say? On the victim's wrist.
This is pitiful. Well, I know this is early 19th century, but still.
Clearly, that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark. You're right.
Go on, Inspector.
The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report.
Yeah, I don't see how a gunshot would, like, go with a burn mark.
Yeah, for all they know, that happened like years ago when he was a kid. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we?
Were tattoos made back then now?
You have control over the keyboard!
Don't worry about it. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. It's like a bull. For bull-headed, stubborn people like you.
Okay, well, tattoos date back to like 5000 BCE, so...
Okay.
Did they have tattoos in the 1800s? The earliest appearance of tattoos on women during this period were in the circus in the late 19th century. So again, this is accurate!
Oh my god! Well, I guess it was not widespread known, but it was there, so basically...
You know, some sexual deviants are there. Getting things on.
However, as prosecutor Ouchie, as tattoos would have you make you say, points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn.
Upsetting.
I mean, yeah, I guess I can see that.
Squiggly lines.
Squiggly line tattoos.
Excuse me, Your Excellency.
You know there's people out there who just, like, tattoo Japanese or Chinese words on them, and then to translate just, like, cheese. Just some random words. It's great.
It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. That's not how court works. Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
With a ruler stick? What's your thinking in this, Ryan? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case?
To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful.
Yes, you're right.
I am?
Yeah, you're right!
Sweet!
If we can just link that burn to the case, if we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again.
Just give up, Counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that.
Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence...
The police fake evidence all the time. I don't get why we can't fake evidence as well.
Because that's illegal for the defense to do it. Everything has to be to advantage for us. Evidence that you're free to be linked to burn the victim's wrist to the case. Then you would allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face.
Really? Nah, she's just pale like that. I have to find some link between that burn and the case. Breathe.
Breathe, my child.
If this is the moment of truth. I wasn't ready for that one. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means.
So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. It's a bullshit, so we need to find a way to prove what we have in the evidence to what's happening. It just has to prove the burn mark, it happens. That happened, like, you know. What? What are you doing?
I'm lost, that's what I'm doing.
Just look through stuff, you can find something. It's a bullhead. I was gonna say a tattoo, but no, it's a burn.
Let's have a look at this.
That's a close-up of the...
Yeah.
So, it's a bullhead. Look how magnified it gets.
It does. Come on, come on! I got this! Cheater using the mouse. Okay.
Look at that.
Well...
It looks like a bull. Look at the other evidence, too. There could be something.
Back. Might as well just go through everything. That's a negative. Aha!
Oh, what is this I see?
Oh, let's do... I have to look at what button this is. Present!
What is a button? What's this, counsel? Yet another print? We like our photographs, okay?
Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention.
Black and white.
When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph...
Oh my
things
God.
we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore.
Forevermore, says the raven.
Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. No! You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How? You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. That's your game, and let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
Have fun with the keyboard.
Yep. There we go. And then just present.
There you go.
The beef steak?
It's a really glorious steak that I imprinted upon the victim's body.
Yes. Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on.
The plate?
Your Excellency, are you alright?
Aneurysm.
As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. A fire emblem. That's a game we should play.
Oh no.
I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival.
They only sell beefsteaks, like I mentioned before. Only beefsteaks.
This emblem on the plate and the victim's burn, slam, are exactly the same shape.
He's not using he's not using the weak slams now, this boy.
Yep.
Ryan, you genius.
You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
My first question is why the victim would happen.
I have no idea, but even if that's the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day after that. It most likely happened at some other, unrelated time.
Really?
Well,
Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim.
Thanks. Why?
Your face is one. The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? Bounty works there for a while.
I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly.
Okay.
But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out.
Huh.
This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds.
Okay.
Seconds. Oh.
Is it conceivable the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then? And like, isn't like the knee-jerk reaction like, you don't keep your hand like in a burning stove for 3 whole seconds. It's
I
like,
mean, when I was drunk, and they were holding a lighter next to my skin, I sure as shit didn't feel anything.
well, guess what? They
So
were.
it's not completely out of the question.
Yeah, for the most alcohol-driven person, but they were drinking carbonated water. Well, I mean, if they had like if they drink carbonated water, that means they had no taste, which means their sense of touch is also out of whack too.
This is very true.
Their senses are all boggled.
I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of the Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation.
But you're a detective, not a waiter!
Oh my god. Yes!
I feel like that's exactly how he sounds right about now. There you have it. Something isn't right here.
Comfortable, yeah.
As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that.
And yet, Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream. Not that day or any before it. I'm pretty sure the other witnesses also said it too.
Yeah.
Especially like if the professor like saw like either the culprit just pull out a gun right in front of them. I'm pretty sure he would scream before that too. So yeah.
That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either.
What are you suggesting?
Well, if a professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day...
That would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel.
Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, who I've totally forgotten about until this moment, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Well, yes, I suppose.
So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream?
I almost don't believe it. Right, do you think...
He was already dead! No.
Well, I mean, if he was shot, then his hand would be like on the plate for 3 seconds, then his hand moved down?
I guess. Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap.
So that means someone must have messed with the scene then? Like they messed with the body at least.
Uh-huh. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson... He was asleep. Nice. So already dead.
Press the enter button.
Yes, I got it.
Are you sure?
No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. Again, the wonders of alcohol. That's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. It's bad, but I know that.
Yes, I saw something like similar firsthand. Yeah. Counsel, are you suggesting?
Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead.
Already?
Dead? Glare.
Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. Gentle slam, but still a slam. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead.
That's madness!
Order! Please, counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot.
That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
No, Prosecutor Ouchie, it's you who has no grasp of the facts.
I beg your pardon?
As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case is turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet?
Yeah, I think you could be sick.
Well, there are no straws at the restaurant from I saw. Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Mr. Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement.
But, Your Excellency,
The justice system in our country may be at its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I'm prepared to pass judgment.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Is she finally going to talk? No, she's just gonna smile. What was that smile? Ah, lovely.
yes, of course. I mean,
Oh, well, now we're back to a normal voice, I guess.
I'd be delighted to help, especially if it helps relations between my country and yours.
So you speak Japanese?
Everyone.
Miss Brett, you speak Japanese?
Yeah.
Well, of course I do. I'm studying in your country after all.
But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter till now?
My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world.
God.
As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible.
I think you called it earlier.
I fucking knew it!
But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level.
Wow.
What a bitch!
You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman.
You're damn right she is!
We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us.
God. I see.
And the judge is just like,
Uh-huh. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. Bow. Curtsy. So we're finally going to hear our own words in the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryan.
Things are getting interesting. Pause, Ryan.
Pause.
The victim's a death.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his fist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, a post-mortem report showed no other possibility cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway.
Okay.
She's a right cake, isn't she?
The most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you.
Oh my god. Easy does it.
I hope that is the last time I'll have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue.
Well, it seems like you lowered yourself down just to learning the language apparently then too.
Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady.
And it's very clear. You can't see it, but my friend here is currently dying.
And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk on the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today.
Shut up, you.
The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible.
Oh my god.
Amen.
Huh?
Thanks? Was that a prayer then?
Oh my god. Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss such.
Much.
Miss much, you such. Brunch. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you failed to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear?
Alright, cool.
You gotta get yourself into shape, attitude-wise. Got it all under control.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Well, you may proceed with the cross-examination.
That's what the judge looks like. He looks like a dungeon master.
That's one way to do it.
You may now begin with the cross-examination. Roll a d20 in charisma.
Oh my god. Hand me a dice over there right now.
I don't
Where is it?
see one.
Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Continue.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that.
How bad is this gonna go?
That's an 8 right there. But his hand was on the searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't not have noticed. Do you think so? Let me ask you something. Sorry? Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the floor on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You can't not have noticed, can you? Huh? What? Ah! What fun! You hadn't realized. Your lady's absolutely right.
As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryan.
Oh my god. Why didn't you tell me? You didn't zip it up after you were done! Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman.
After the deed is done, your body's yours only, Ryan.
He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing? Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can.
Oh my god.
Well, I can't. Anyway,
God. You're a piece of work.
when the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in toast.
I thought you only ate steak, though.
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right? Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if you remember, which explains why he ordered that drink. Correct, waiter? Exactly as you say, sir. Although...
Sad.
Although? Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table, I'm afraid I don't remember that. Damn you. I have enough English to understand that at least. For the benefit of the others of the court, it means bless you.
Oh.
I think it means the exact opposite.
His simply means no bounds.
Anyway... As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. Yes! Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma.
Trauma.
Yes. Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us, as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death. It could only have been from a bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life. But it doesn't make sense! The burn must have happened straight away, when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter.
Oh, they were going with that. I was thinking in my head, oh.
What?
Like, I was thinking before, I put the possibility, if, the dead body was shot, then it would, his hand went into the plate? That's when the burn happened. But no, that's not what's happening. They're talking about the burn happened when he was still alive.
Uh-huh.
That's the biggest thing we have to solve now, then. If I had cooled even slightly, he wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that.
And if the victim burnt his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must have already been dead at that point.
And remember from the plate in the photo, looks like there was a few bites sticking out of it too.
And yet, the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that, this is a complete waste of time.
So, I concur. Monsieur Ouchie's right.
Ah.
If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please, do show me. Oh shit, back! No! Go back!
You went to the left again. Left again.
Hang on, wait, there we go.
There we go.
Without leaving a trace. If someone is shot or strangled or stabbed or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body.
Yeah.
There's an achievement that you can get in the Hitman games that's called Tasteless Traceless. It's when you kill someone with poison.
Oh, wait, is that what you're saying, like, was happened here?
Well, I'm not saying he was poisoned, I'm just making that to debunk what she's saying. She's like, if someone's life's taken, there's always a way you can tell. It's like, not with poison, bitch.
Quite right, dear lady.
I guess poison was the only one that wouldn't leave an outward trace then, huh?
And as our police forces thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Is that right, Inspector Hasanaga?
The only thing you'd have to go by is the fact of, hey, it was a sudden death.
That's the same thing happened with the gunshot too, instant death.
Yeah, well, obvious evidence from that.
Yeah.
As I've said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. There would be physical traces of all those causes of death, that's true. Maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. Fuck, am I right? No way, I'm fucking right.
But why didn't the coroner, like, find
If
poison?
me just playing Hitman has somehow given me this knowledge.
But why wouldn't the coroner, like, bring up poison as a cause of death, though?
I don't know. Probably because the gun. Well, they said they don't do autopsies, so he just sees the
No, this is
gunshot. He's like,
new.
fucking there it is.
Like, this is a new practice from England, so they're practicing autopsies now, though.
Oh,
So they did it, but they didn't verify a poison.
I see. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone exactly how you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it?
Oh no, perish the thought. Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question on my honor.
Takatsuchi Ouchie.
That will cut down any who dare cast such aspersions.
Aspersions. Asbestos is yummy.
A way of killing someone that leaves no trace.
We need some evidence to back us up here.
Yes, evidence.
And last statement, I think, yeah.
But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. Her voice is changing all the time, and there's nothing I can do about it. Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once, and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Absolutely barbaric.
Oh my god.
Quite right. The canal is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. What?
Huh. You just had an aneurysm back there.
Oh. Am I allowed to, like, click that at all? No. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand?
Kill a blow. The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful.
Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense.
I very much doubt that.
Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right.
What do you think, Ryan?
I think it's going terribly.
Okay, well,
No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information.
oh boy. Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over.
But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in our armor. Kazuma,
What, Ryan?
there is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me.
Bothering you? I mean, you mean about Miss Brett?
Actually, no. It is poison, and he totally got some. About the person standing next to her, Inspector Osanaga.
The detective?
Yes, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement.
The blood tells all, I said.
I was wondering if it might be significant. It might present an opening, maybe.
Alright, I have an idea.
I do too. But we're going to have to talk about that idea on the next episode.
Because the blood will indeed tell all when we talk to him.
Apparently it will. Do they have They definitely have microscopes at this point. I know they do.
They probably do.
I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but there you go.
Oh, well, this leaves us off here for under and careful scrutiny investigation next time. Bye!
Bye!